Let's start with Phil, a YouTuber who runs the channel Slam. Since 2017, Phil has been sharing his hiking adventures, showcasing everything from gear reviews to serene moments in nature. His videos often highlight the beauty of the outdoors, the importance of preparation, and the peace that comes with disconnecting from the world. But in November 2021, his overnight hike on the Appalachian Trail took a terrifying turn, one that he'll never forget. Phil's journey began like any other. He packed his gear, laced up his boots, and set off into the wilderness near his home in Virginia. For the first half hour, everything was normal. The crisp autumn air, the rustling leaves, and the peaceful solitude of the trail were exactly what he had hoped for. But as he ventured deeper into the woods, things started to get strange. Phil began noticing odd pieces of trash scattered along the trail. At first, it seemed like typical litter plastic containers, wrappers, but upon closer inspection, he realized that some of the containers had writing on them, not just random scribbles, but entire song lyrics and poems. As he crossed the boundary into the wilderness, the strangeness intensified. Near his intended campsite, Phil found a series of disturbing notes.
The weirdness continues. What the? Dead duck here. A very long note.
Some contained cryptic poems that seemed to hint at something ominous. Others delved into conspiracy theories, mentioning undercover federal agents and secret government operations. A few notes even appeared to be autobiographical, with the writers sharing fragments of their life story. The creepiest part, a dead duck lay nearby, as if placed there intentionally. The notes and the duck were in good condition, suggesting they had been left there recently. Phil's unease grew as he noticed a tarp and a small fire at a campsite about 20 yards away. No one was around, but the presence of the fire indicated that someone had been there and might still be nearby. Phil decided to move to a different shelter, but the horror didn't end there. In the camp logbook, he found the same handwriting from the notes.
This writing looks almost exactly like the writing that was on that garbage a couple of miles from here.
One chilling entry read, "Watch out for Yeet Mouse. The dead do walk and talk." That night, Phil heard strange noises and saw a man with a headlamp lurking near the shelter.
I heard somebody down by the shelter, but it definitely was somebody down there.
He quietly packed up and left, making it home safely. To this day, the identity of the note-leaving stranger remains a mystery. Next up is Grizzly Gaz, a UK-based YouTuber who often camps in extreme conditions, with his French bulldog, Fendi. His channel is filled with videos of him braving the elements, chopping wood, and cooking meals over open fires. But in April 2023, his trip took a creepy turn, one that left him questioning whether he should have stayed home. Gaz's adventure began like any other. He set up his tent, gathered firewood, and prepared to cook a steak dinner as the sun began to set. Fendi, his loyal companion, kept him company as he worked. But just as he was about to start cooking, a man appeared out of nowhere. The man, who introduced himself as Martin, was dressed in jeans and a coat. He approached Gaz's campsite and asked for a beer and some food. Gaz, being the kind-hearted person he is, agreed to share his meal.
Pot boiling for some mash. And I've got a visitor. Creeped up behind me asking me if I had a light. I shit my pants. This is Martin anyway. I don't know him, but he's stopping for a steak.
But as they talked, Gaz noticed that Martin's sentences were incoherent and rambling. It was clear that Martin was not in his right mind, whether due to drugs, alcohol, or something else. Gaz couldn't tell. As they ate, Martin shared his story. He claimed to be homeless and admitted that drugs had ruined his life. He spoke about how he had ended up wandering the woods that day, alone and desperate. Gaz listened sympathetically, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The encounter took a disturbing turn when Gaz turned away to chop more wood for the fire. When he turned back, Martin was gone. He hadn't said goodbye or thanked Gaz for the food. He had simply vanished into the night. Feeling uneasy, Gas decided to leave the campsite and head home. He was worried that Martin might return, with ill intentions, especially since Gas had expensive filming equipment with him. To monitor the area, Gas set up a trail camera before leaving.
I'm on my way back to the camp to collect my trail camera and see if that random smackhead came back during the night.
The next morning, Gas returned to the campsite to retrieve his camera, but when he arrived, the camera was gone. There was no sign of Martin or anyone else, just an empty campsite and a lingering sense of unease. Now, let's talk about the YouTuber behind Creepy Outdoors. In October 2022, he uploaded a video of a nighttime exploration in an unnamed forest. His channel is dedicated to visiting sketchy outdoor locations, and this trip was no exception. For the first few minutes of the video, everything was calm. The only sounds were the uploader's breathing and the rustling of leaves. It was eerie, but in a peaceful way. The uploader made a few comments about his surroundings, noting how isolated and quiet the forest was. But around 13 minutes in, the tranquility was shattered.
Oh, what the hell? Oh boy.
A voice in the distance yelled, "I see you." The uploader froze, unsure if it was a person or an animal. He quickly turned off his lamp and listened intently, but the voice didn't call out again. The uploader decided to leave the area, but the experience left him shaken. Was it a prankster trying to scare him, or something more sinister? We'll never know. Next, we have Sam, from the Northwest Wind. Sam specializes in stealth camping, parking his camper van in remote spots, without paying for parking. In January 2024, he set up camp in the woods, near Cleveland. Things took a dark turn when he heard footsteps outside his tent.
Somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent. Somebody's out there. I don't know if they're coming this way or just walking around out there. I can't tell.
Hello? Hello? What do you want? I have a knife. They collapsed my tent on me. I don't know which way they went. I think they went this way. I see you. Get away!
He called out, but no one responded, until a voice finally replied, "We're coming for you." Sam fled to his van, only to see two men chasing him.
Can't see the shadow. Here's a path. Okay, get me there. I'm recording all of this. I'm calling up police. Get away from me! Where's my phone? Everything's muddy, disgusting. My knee, I'm soaked. I gotta go home. All right, let's drive out of here.
The next morning, he found his campsite ransacked, but nothing was stolen. Were the men just messing with him, or did they have worse plans? Finally, we have Sean, from Love Sundays. In February 2024, he had a bizarre experience while camping in the UK. After a peaceful evening in the woods, he woke up at 3 a.m. to find people walking around his van.
A car's just pulled up, and it sounds like they're walking around the van.
When he looked outside, they drove away.
And see how miserable the weather is. My door's stuck. See that? It was obviously just people wanting to f*** about and just... How dangerous is that? Locking someone in their van?
Thankfully, Sean escaped unharmed, but the incident left him questioning the stranger's motives. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.